Newzroom Afrika's Zola Sholwana is there and will share with us an update now. Zola, it is a fascinating subject and we take so much for granted. If you have a flushing toilet in your home and everything works across the entire system, it's not the reality for many people across the world and in our country specifically. What else have you learned?
Well, yes, indeed, Iman, understanding the statistics that we have heard being shared earlier on of billions of people globally who do not have access to sanitation. When we bring it home in South Africa, we have over 2 million people that do not have proper sanitation, especially in provinces like the Limpopo province, Mpumalanga and the Eastern Cape. So far, the Gauteng province and the Western Cape are doing fairly well, but we do understand that there are engagements that are currently happening between relevant parties to ensure that they improve sanitation worldwide. And you might have heard the CEO calling on corporate companies to come on board and play their part to ensure that we reduce the numbers of children in particular who are affected by unsafe sanitation. But let's bring in one of our guests, Iman, who's going to be Dr. J. Bhagwan, who's the Executive Manager of Water Supply and Water Waste Management. So thank you very much for your time. Of course, the numbers are actually worrying or concerning in South Africa, looking at how dire the situation is. If you look at provinces like the Limpopo province where children are still using pit toilets, are we perhaps heading to a future where what I just mentioned now is going to be a thing of the past?
Well, Zola, thank you for having me. I think we're heading for a new sanitation crisis, okay? Besides the backlogs that we inherited through the legacy issues, etc., if you start listening to the media and the news around the non-functioning wastewater treatment plants and the sewage systems, we're heading to a bigger sanitation crisis. So, we believe that people raise a lot about the water crisis, but when you have a water crisis, the bigger crisis is sanitation. And this is where we need to transition from the old ways of doing things. My previous CEO used to say, we shouldn't use 20th century solutions to deal with 21st century challenges. And what we're doing at the Water Research Commission is bringing these 21st century solutions to deal with the emerging 21st century challenges.
Now, speaking about the 21st century ideas of dealing with the current situations that we are looking at, having worked with the likes of PepsiCo and companies, more companies rather, would you say that corporate South Africa has come on board in terms of, being part of solutions of dealing with unsafe sanitation?
The corporates have come on. I think it's been a slow transition around how the corporates have started to come in, and they're there to play their role, but I think they need to play a bigger role in terms of harnessing the innovation platform that is on offer, because I think that through their involvement they create the soft landing that these very novel products and tools kind of have an opportunity to leapfrog into the market and get scaled up. So they play a very, very key part in that transition journey for these new technologies, whether it's for poor people, it's for middle-income people, or for even the wealthy. The potential is there, and they fill in that bridge, or they create that bridge and the linkage to allow us to either fail forward or succeed forward. Thank you.
Jay, before I let you go, what message does this particular event send to the business community of South Africa? Understanding that the WRC and SASTEP play a huge role in the sanitation space. What could you tell them, especially those that haven't come on board, in terms of solving issues of sanitation across the country?
So we at the WRC adopted a slogan that where you're born should not determine the toilet you get. So inequity in toilet technology and toilet provision should be eliminated. And it's why we went on this journey, this disruptive journey, to find new solutions that were dignified and aspirational for poor people. Through this journey, we've transition from what we call non-sewage to the water efficient sanitation solutions platform that now starts addressing a bigger picture of water security. And through these technologies, because they don't require huge infrastructure like sewers and sewerage systems, that they are on-site and they can treat human waste on-site. But they're very water efficient because they don't need large flushes of water. They can flush with a half a liter and even lower. You straight away create an opportunity of water security by reducing consumption at a household level by about 50 to 60%. Now, that is a huge disruption, okay? But it also allows government and developing country governments to leapfrog these solutions and bring better, dignified sanitation to many people, that do not enjoy it. And I believe that if you have a good solution, you have toilet and peace. And I think that's the transition, and that's the kind of journey that the water research has curated, not only for South Africa, but for the world.
Thank you very much, Jay Bhagwan, for your time. In fact, Iman, there was a video that was played earlier where we saw children celebrating having proper sanitation where their toilets could flush. You would know that in South Africa, especially in provinces like the Eastern Cape, we usually hear about so many stories of children that die because of unsafe sanitation. Some of them are exposed to diarrhea. Some of them are even still using pit toilets. But, from these conversations that are currently being held here, one is able to understand that there are, plans that are currently being put in place to ensure that there are, inventions such as smart toilets so that children are able to go to school and not have to worry about sanitation issues. And really everyone has access to sanitation. And that's what today is all about. Iman, back to you in studio.
Zola Sholwana, thank you very much. Let's go from